You go fine. You don't too much coming out of your township. I go, she doesn't. I give her an award. He was laughing at there.
Oh, yeah.
He was good.
Why am I?
Yeah.
Great council.
So did
I'm
you.
alright.
When you tried to staff with you too.
Yeah.
Due to our technical
Said you were
difficulties,
afraid.
we are
Said you were
bringing this
afraid.
meeting to order at 7:31. We'll call to order and we'll have a roll call
Supervisor Gail Schnitzer Eisenberg.
here.
Trustee Jessica Tucker.
Here.
Trustee Stephen Mosier.
Here.
Trustee Mark Peterson.
Here.
Assessor Jan Churchwell.
Here.
And we have our administrator and deputy clerk arriving shortly. And is there anyone else online? Oh, Trustee Kate Cassell McNally, I saw you come up. And I need to ask, are you participating as a voter or non-voter?
Non-voter.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. And we have Commander Bush. Welcome, Commander. Madam Supervisor, we have a quorum for business.
Wonderful. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Supervisor's report's a lot shorter today because it was July. So continuing to go out into the community, be it all the art fairs, sidewalk sales. But otherwise, everything was pretty much covered by the staff reports, in particular the mid-year employee reviews, which was a major endeavor. For those who've been around a little longer, we did not do any employee reviews, and now we've added the mid-year reviews. We want everyone to know, what we appreciate about them and areas where we can improve, and things shouldn't be surprises. That is supervisor's report. Anything else? Any questions for me? All right, we're in line for the clerk's report.
All right, so I have just four things. We had a clerk's executive, it's a clerk's associate executive planning meeting. Very sharp. We have our strategies for the year, and each time we had educational session. So I once again encourage you, if you can find your division, I know trustees are trying to start up again, and I know Gail had very big success with the supervisor group. It's very useful. We have stuff every meeting, but it takes planning and strategy. That's what we do. I wanted to say how tickled I was last month to welcome Josie and Cynthia Wang, and I did want to acknowledge them on the record that I was really tickled. Not only had Supervisor Eisenberg, but Director Oliver and I have had meetings with them, and just a joyful thing to see a high school student so interested in our work that she and her mom came last meeting, a woman. Okay, I work collaborated with Director Oliver on my Courier article and the information about the upcoming election. So it's funny to think about, all that stuff going in, so all our residents will have the details about polling, et cetera. And then I did visit the township booth at the sidewalk sale, and I was impressed that the treasurer still sent somebody for the cashing, even though the weather was, or the smoke was interesting, but it wasn't smoky on for that time. They were impressive to see them there, and Heather, of course. And then I had office hours. I had a visitor today, so it was very productive. Thank you.
It is a good reminder, when the smoke occurred, we were able to hand out the extra K9, K96, K90, I'm like, K95, like we're forgetting already. Mask that we did have to our pantry clients, and that was much appreciated. Also, when people lost power, we were able to remind people that we're a cooling center for those who wanted to plug in. Did anyone come and take advantage? It's important that we are here. You know that we can, that they can. I think that lasted much longer. We would have had more visitors. But yes, so the importance of staying up to date in the community. All right, approval of the minutes, July 14th, 2026. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, discussion. I will start. There were a few typos on
I'll be glad to fix all of that.
at section 10, I know my Roman numerals. It should be cab connect instead of cash.
Okay.
And there was another one in there.
I've got two.
Kate got it. Yeah.
On page 2, Roman numeral 5, clerk's report. let's correct the spelling of the last name Sexton.
Mhm.
And on page 4, Roman numeral 10, staff reports, in the 6th bullet point, we need to revise the spelling of the word uncashed.
No.
And then if we could just do a universal check on spacing after the end of sentences, line breaks, and punctuation. It just might
But
be
what is
worth.
the issue on the spacing? If it's, to switch it to one, that's not required, and I learned it that way, and I like two spaces in between.
Oh, no,
And
no,
it's my
It's
prerogative.
fine. I'm not mad at you about 2 spaces. I just want consistency. Some places
Yeah,
it's
and
1,
it
some
should be.
places it's 3. Just make it 2 throughout.
Yeah. Any other changes?
On page 5, you just got the youth leadership project hanging out there. Was that part of the discussion?
I think I was thinking about what to say and didn't add, well, I put it in there because that was added, but we didn't, resolve it.
We didn't discuss it.
Right, so that's why I put it in that way.
I think it was discussed.
Which
in
is raised as
the
an
text
issue.
of the proposed Township Advisory Oversight Committee bylaws.
Or I bet it was missing and that.
But it was just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah.
That's what I commented on.
I can add more words to say.
And certainly the Zoom will be available as well. Good. Any other changes?
No changes, but I have just a comment. I love in section 7 on the verification claims that we are so transparent now with the breakdown of the total and then the categories of where the expenditures are coming from. So thank you for those details in addition to the
Is that
minutes.
something we should continue in?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that was one of the things that the auditor said should be in the minutes. So this is exactly, this is fulfilling that criteria. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, they are approved. Going back to our agenda, financial report, James.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna share my screen and then we'll walk through the 5 months ended July 31. Hold on one second. So you can see here as we are through 42% of our fiscal year, we've collected 48% of our taxes. Again, that's on the first installment. Again, it's coming in a little bit erratic in terms of we're getting some late collections still. We got one yesterday. And we know that the bills are going to be late again in terms of, I think they're going to come out October with collections in November, I'm hoping. Jan may have a little bit more insight there, but again, we're at 48%. That's what I would expect to see about 50% of the way through. We should have about 50% of our tax monies as we should get them in March and August. But again, we've had kind of a crazy year. Replacement taxes in at 53%. Remember, that comes in about every other month from the state. That's at 31,000 collected, so that looks good. Interest at 63%. That's going to be an outperform for the year at about 32,000 collected there. And passport fees also looking very good. Almost 19,000 collected at 62%. So we're at about 1.9 million for revenue. 3.9 million is the budget. So we're at about 48%. Again, that at 42% of the way through the year, looking very strong. As we look into some expenditures, again, a lot of green on this right-hand side. Some payments come earlier in the year. That's under contractual expenditures. So I don't see any real outliers here. Agency programs, again, a third of those have gone out. That's about 609,000. Contractual services, these are the ones where when we look at the line account, some of these are done for the year already as their one-time payouts. That's at 115,000 or 47%. So just slightly elevated. Some other expenditures slightly elevated, not a big part of the budget in terms of dollars. And then everything else here, namely financial assistance at 29, and you can see personnel at 41. So everything coming in nicely under budget. About 1.3 million spent in total. 4.1 million is the budget. We're at 31%. We're also 31% in terms of the town and GA funds to date. So that's unique. But again, 31% across all funds. Right now, we're producing a surplus of about 620,000. We started with about 2.9 million, so we're about 3.5 million in ending fund balance. And again, good fund balance ratios. Again, that's going to go up as we receive that next installment of tax monies, and then again, that gets spent down over the remaining months. Going to the
James, I have a
distribution.
question. James,
Question.
Do you happen to know why the other expenses is high and what it's going towards?
Yeah, we can
Other-
look at the detail here in a second. Yeah, I might not have the detail of every expenditure, but we can have it broken out into a few categories, so we can look at that here in a minute.
Okay,
Revenue wise, 96% property taxes, about 2% replacement tax, 2% interest, 1% passports, and then that other at 0.2. And then distribution for expenditures at 49% agency programs, childcare 4, projects 2, contractual 9, assessor 3, building town hall 4, financial assistance 8, pantry 2, and then you can see their personnel about 17%, elected officials 1. Again, revenues over expenditures, which is always a good thing. Then as we go down into the detail here, just pointing out agency programs, all at 33%. And then I'm just going to take us to some of these other categories. Summer camp, you see that's been spent at about 53%, back to school at 73. Annual town hall has been spent for the year. And then here under contractual services, we point this out, but again, civic clerk, audio eye, and doc access, both of those paid in full for the year. IT supports at about 50%. And then let's take us to this other, again, some of this is official staff expense. So you can see that's at about 3,700 on about a $5,000 budget. So that's kind of the majority, but we can break that out for you and get you the detail on what makes up that 3,700. That won't be a problem. Outside of that, our bonds are paid in terms of that building town hall expense up front. And then again, 41% across all personnel categories. Again, very good, trending under budget.
My
That's right.
assumption is that staff expense is gonna be the Cook County, Township officials of Cook County conference. This was the first time that the staff went.
It's also mileage,
And mileage.
it's all
So
of that
everybody
is packed
went,
into
or
one.
how many?
Everyone except for Heather. Bennett.
Me, Gail, Arnold, Steve, Jerome, Jan.
Yeah, last but not least, just our bank account balances pretty much mirror fund balance at about 3.5 million. Again, most of that in our Schwab accounts. Again, that's earning or yielding about 3.5, which is very good. And again, the Fed, we were talking about rate cuts not that long ago. Now we're holding flat and talking about rate hikes. So again, we'll see what happens. We didn't have a great employment number that just came out. So again, the Fed's going to weigh employment and inflation. So again, we're looking more towards a rate hike right now than a rate cut. But again, that's good for investments. That's all I really have for you. The rest of this is the detail. We did have a couple of voids that we wanted to make sure that the board was aware were voided. We redlined those down here in the bank rec. Just because we had voided them after we put the board report together, we wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of those. But outside of that, I think good report. We're heading into hopefully the last year of tax delays. I can't promise anything, but it'd be nice to get back on track there. But outside of that, we're in real good financial position. We won't need a bridge loan. The Cook County has offered the program, but we're in good financial shape. We don't need to borrow. We don't need tax warrants. You'll hear, local governments needing that help because of those delays. We don't have that issue. But outside of that, I'd be happy to take any other questions from the board.
Being none, let's go to the verification.
Thank you, James.
Is there a motion to accept the financial report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we're on to approval of claims. Trustee Moser.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome,
I'd
everybody.
like,
Make sure I'm already the host. Wait.
I would like to, move to accept and incorporate the numbers indicated in the financial report for the town fund and the general assistance fund from July 1st, 2026 to July 31st, 2026, as presented at the board this evening, August 11th, 2026.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Supervisor Eisenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Peterson.
Yes.
Trustee Mosier.
Yeah.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Approved. Public comment, is there a public comment? Commander.
So we did have some storm, we did not have any damage up here, I had the officers, go through all of our incorporated areas, including New Trier, Northfield, Main Township, Norwood Park, part of Wheeling. So we were very, very lucky out south, they were not as lucky, they did have some damage, quite a bit of damage in some of the unincorporated areas. So I know that I've been in touch with, Deputy Clerk Pearson regarding if trees do fall down in the unincorporated areas. If you haven't answered yet, please give me a call and we'll make sure we get someone out. I didn't hear of any flooding over at the golf course.
I haven't either.
No, I mean, we've had some issues in the past.
Yeah,
I didn't see any today and we had quite a bit of rain.
yes.
So, as long as we can stay on top of that, that's what's been going on. We did help out with, over in Lincolnwood, they had a fest over there, we had some officers over there. We did help out in, 4th of July, traffic control in Winnetka for that event. So that's what's pretty much been going on.
Very much appreciated.
We try and stay on top of it. If there's anything you need, you know how to contact me. We're here to help out and make sure that we support New Trier as well as all of our other townships.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have a quick question, Commander. Have you been asked to do anything on patrolling the lakefront? I'm just curious because like our park district here in Winnetka is looking at these park rangers and some other things.
No, that's because
Do you have any jurisdiction? I'm just curious.
we only do the unincorporated sections.
Okay,
That's
so you're
incorporated
saying-
Winnetka.
Okay,
So they'd either have to do it themselves or contract it out.
right,
And
okay,
we do details, so they can always contact us to do that. As a detail, so I mean, maybe they've determined it's cheaper to hire
yeah, some
law
outside.
enforcement people to do those patrolling of those beach areas
Yeah,
for that sort of time.
okay. So
They're always
focus,
welcome to call us.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none. Assessors report. Assessor Churchwell. Yes.
We opened for appeal to the Board of Review last week. Final date is September 1st. And the board, unlike, the assessor, instead of having a hard stop, get everything in, but with a longer period of time to do it. The September 1st, deadline is hard. However, there is a provision in their, format that you may say you are submitting evidence later. And you have an additional 10 days to do that. So the hard stop is September 11th. And I have to say, even though it is a hard stop, they have been marvelous in the past about letting people in a little bit late if the people are able to say that the reason they could not file on time was because they've been trying and they couldn't get through. Because now the Board of Reviews program is 10 years old. And now all of the county has moved ahead of it. It was at one point the most advanced program, and now it probably is going to need some updating. And of course, if at this point they have 7 townships opened all at once. They all have the same stop date. They all have the same September 11 end date. If a lot of people, and 3 of those townships are in the western, southern tri rather, which are open reassessment years for them at the moment. So if they have a jam up at the end, it's very likely that their system may get clogged on the night of September 11th or on the night of September 1st. For that matter. Yeah, one way or another. Excuse me. And I would like to thank Heather because we had been told we were going to open later in August, maybe even in September. So opening on Monday, August 3rd I found out about it when I turned on my phone just to take a look and see where everything's doing. In fact, so I went, oh, we're open. Nice. And she held up getting the dispatch together to give me some extra time to get everything in because I just wasn't able to get all the bits and pieces organized while trying to answer the phone and make sure we were off and running because we had about 90 people before August 3rd. asking us when we were going to be opening, and I told them it's going to be later in August, don't worry about a thing.
Was that the pre-filing period that they were talking about?
What the board does with pre-filing, is it is open and ready for business,
Hmm.
but you can go ahead, you can pre-file, but since you don't have any comps to submit, unless you say you're going to submit evidence later, the board is going to choose your comps.
Oh, I see.
And we
I didn't-
always recommend people that they not pre-file, because the default is no, you're not submitting anything later. You have to change no to yes.
Hmm.
And it's one of the last items in the pre-file format. And by the time you get through that, you're kind of ready to go, submit, I'm done.
Right,
And now you're
Yeah.
done. Now, again, they will usually say, okay, it's okay, we'll let you do it
Right.
later, but
It's
they,
confusing.
they'd rather not.
yeah.
And so we recommend that, and also, I'd say this to people, the board has to apply the same standard to however many appeals it gets, 250,000 a year or a cycle or whatever it may be. I only have to think about the residents of New Trier Township and what's best for them. And I really think that, it matters that I can devote 30 days to nothing but appeals for New Trier Township and trying to find the best way, things I can, and looking beyond comps if necessary, looking at sales more. The board doesn't have time to do things like that. If someone wants to appeal on the basis of my house is over, say, the list of recent sales, they have to submit that themselves. The board will then take a look at the information to see whether they agree with it. But they aren't going to go to the trouble of doing things like that up front to look for it. And I consider that to be part of what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do the deep dive for residents if I see something that looks anomalous to me. And so I do. And the board will be holding its annual outreach event here next Monday night. Is the Zoom going to work?
Yes.
Okay, good. And it will be Zoomed, or at least the presentation part will be Zoomed. They also do filing on the spot. So that will not be, but the presentation begins at 6 o'clock, and that will be now available on Zoom, as all of the noise and confusion in the room will be available too.
Jan, could you repeat the group and then board so I can put in the minutes correctly? What group is presenting?
This is Board of Review.
The board, okay.
Yeah, Cook County Board of Review.
Um,
Yes. And then.
Commissioner Steele's office.
Sorry?
Commissioner Steele's office, right?
Yes, Commissioner Steele, District 2, to be precise.
okay.
And then on August 26th, Deputy Assessor Mike Sexton and I are going to hold just an ordinary, no pre-format Q&A for residents to come in, figuring that people will come in mostly with their appeal questions, since we're doing it while we're still open, but that's kind of the focus of why I'm doing it that way. It seems to work out best, because it doesn't matter how many times people appeal. If they are asking us to help them with appeals, it may well be because they simply do not understand how the process works. They think it's amazing that we can keep track of the schedule. And great, so I didn't know we were opening, but thank you very much. But again, if they're confused, that's fine. I'm happy to tell them as often as they ask that, here's what it's like. And they've got their own lives, and their life does not involve trying to remember all the details of the Cook County Assessor's Office and the tax system. That is my job. So I'm happy to answer the questions every time they come on. That's pretty much my report for now.
Questions for
Oh,
Jan?
wait, no, I beg your pardon. There is the other tax bills. Based on what James said, the latest information we have, which is a month old or so by now at least, is that the bills were going to be out hopefully early September with the due date of early October. So if his information is later than that, then his is probably more on track than mine. But I did notice that the assessor finalized final values for Cook County as of 31st of July, I think it was, which means the extensions in the clerk's office can begin. And I don't know whether it takes them more than a full month to get that done.
Okay,
That's it.
now questions for Jan. Seeing none. Legislative update, the legislature is not in session. There have been bill signings, but nothing of surprise to my knowledge. So I'd refer back to my prior reports, and if you want more detail, the township officials of Illinois had a really good kind of recitation of what happened this last session. All right, amendment to the budget ordinance 2026-06. So as you saw in Larisha's report, and over the last couple of months and years, we have finally gotten through with Cab Connect and have started the card distribution. Part of the reason why we had kept it at the lower $6 was we had all these outstanding vouchers. All the way back to, what did you say, 2014 was the latest one we found?
We
Yeah.
still do,
And they're still out there.
yeah.
But now that we have the cards and we don't have printed vouchers in a desk somewhere, we can increase that, and we are recommending increasing that to $8. What's nice about the card is we can continue to increase that as we see fit. But this would allow us to ease in and also be in line with some of the other townships. So I would move that we amend the budget ordinance 2026-06 to increase the dial-a-ride line item to allow for the $8 per ride rather than $6 per ride incentive.
So moved. Right?
Is there
Or
a second?
second? Oh, a second on that.
All right. Any discussion?
How does that work as a practical matter, Gail?
Yeah.
Is there a number that's increased in the budget itself? Or is it prospective going forward,
We
or?
will need to provide an actual number, so this will be, this is more of a policy question, and we'll bring the board a revised document.
Yeah, if I can give you any background, the platform itself costs us money every month, that costs us $100. The cards themselves costed us money, but we have 500 cards now. I'm only giving cards to people that I see using vouchers. So there's over 1,000 or 1,100 people in our dial-a-ride system. Some of them are just now using their coupons from forever ago. What they told me in my last Cab Connect meeting was to encourage people to turn those vouchers in, make a day of it, and then have them get the card. But I have a template. I sent maybe about 30 people out cards. So the card is use it or lose it. So they can get the value on the card, but we only get charged for what they ride, if that makes sense.
Sure.
The vouchers, they just have them forever. So for now, I am going to have to go back between two systems. So I was thinking about this number last night. We're at about 10% of the dial-a-ride line right now. But as this becomes more popular, people are going to want to use it more, right? It's just easier than using the vouchers. So I would assume at least another 5 to 8 to be safe without us going over the line. That's just like preliminarily thinking about it.
And note that we don't have to make that official amendment until we kind of see where the numbers are kind of heading. This is more just on the increase to 6 to 8, from 6 to 8. Yes.
So if we approve the 6 to 8 without knowing what the numbers are actually gonna be, isn't that premature? I mean, shouldn't we have something in place, because then we already have an $8, we have that increase and we haven't seen
We
the.
wouldn't be able to issue more cards once we hit that budget without coming back to the board with the current budget. So since the current budget has a line item, we will not be able to go beyond that without coming back to you.
Okay, so,
It's at 10% right now.
Right, so we still have time.
okay, yeah, look at the whole thing. And then is there some use it or lose it with the new program too? So it's not outstanding for years and years and years on these, like.
Yeah, that's what the cards are. The vouchers are not.
The vouchers,
So
right.
that they have it forever.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
card
that
is-
just seems ridiculous to have something out there that they could,
Right, the liability.
that never expires.
Yeah.
And then how do you screen for this to know that they really need this extra help? for
Well, that's part of the
transportation?
problem. It's not income based.
Yeah, I mean, how do
So-
you determine that? Instead, we're not here to give out free money.
We
I
can't.
mean, yeah,
It's
so how do you,
really-
what are the standards?
The
for this?
current standard on the plan, on the program, is disability or it's over 65. 65, right.
Okay.
So it is a senior citizen and disability program rather than a needs tested program.
Oh,
So if this becomes increasingly popular, and we find that we want to add an income requirement, we certainly can.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
program hasn't been edited in the time I've been on this. board.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what other communities or townships are doing, because you mentioned going to 8 might be more in line with others, but what are their criteria? Because you think you would have some sort of an income based also.
Most of them don't do income. Some
Really, they
do.
don't, so anybody could say, I mean, I could say, hey, I want the
Well, some of them
transportation.
do,
I mean,
but not all of them do. I would
Yeah.
say it's about a split, half and
yeah,
half.
they're
They
just,
just have their own.
seems a little loosey goosey, you know,
Yeah,
and
some of
we're
them
playing
do.
around with taxpayers' money, so
Absolutely.
that's where I kind of like, we
Well,
need.
some of them do have transportation and we don't, so that is the difference.
Mm.
But those aren't income based either. So like, for
Yeah.
instance, Wheeling, you just say, I wanna go somewhere,
You just,
and they
they
come and
just
get
give
you.
it to you? Oh,
Yeah.
Who is the they at this point?
I'm saying the Wheeling Township has their own transportation for
Okay,
seniors.
but for us, who provides the rides for child?
So that's actually really
Wow.
exciting. Cat Connect, we no longer have to be attached to either 303 or American.
Well,
right?
they do,
They
they
can.
do still use them. They have to
can.
use those two cab companies.
Okay.
And we get billed the same. So whatever rides come through them, when they swipe the card, that bill still comes to us the same. The only difference is that I'm not gonna get paper vouchers back. Well, I still will, but I am gonna encourage people to turn those vouchers into me in exchange for a card. That's kind of how they suggested I do it.
The computer program is also meant to decrease the administrative time on Larisha. So that it's not a drain. Right now, were you guys using an Excel file or was it still Access?
No, so I have an access
Access.
program for Dial a Ride, that I will still be using to account for those coupons that come in. Just because there's so many of them out there, but,
But Access isn't even being updated anymore.
it's not on Windows 11.
Yeah.
That's another reason for it, because we would have had to create a whole other system for Dial a Ride just because of how much data is in it. So everybody is getting assigned a card. It's been mailed to them. They get assigned a number and that's it. If they lose the card, it's in the rules that you have to pay $5 to get another one. So that gives people a little incentive not to lose it. I did put residency requirements in, so they have to come in, show us their ID. If you're 18 to 64 with a disability, you have to show us a letter from your doctor, your SSDI letter. So there is some screening. We don't just say, hey, this is a program and we're just
yeah.
giving it to you. And that's the reason why it's not out there in our, publications or anything like that right now, because I want to give it to the people who are actually using the program.
Right. Thank you.
Once in a while I do get emails saying, why don't you guys have, a shuttle that picks me up? My friend has one in her township, right? But they also get calls saying, why doesn't my township have a special needs support program? So,
Some townships have the pace buses too.
Right.
also.
Yeah.
They use those small pace buses, for the
Yeah.
seniors.
we're not eligible, so. We do encourage people to use the PACE, paratransit
And escorted transportation too.
and of course, escorted
Oh,
transportation.
sure.
So, but that's only for medical appointments, so. Any additional discussion? So the motion on the floor is simply to increase from 6 to 8. For the voucher, which is now a card. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those all those in favor.
Oh, shouldn't we do a roll call vote with cash?
Well, okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm just.
We'll go ahead and call a roll call.
Supervisor
Yes.
Osmer. Trustee Peterson.
Yes.
Trustee Moser. Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion
Peter with
carries.
finance.
Yeah. All right, we have received a number of staff reports. Is there anything anyone would like to pull from the staff reports for discussion?
Yeah, I like the, Heather talked about Endeavor Health contributing a $2,000 donation to the food pantry operation. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And a lovely conversation with their new community relations
Yeah.
person.
Nice.
Great outreach. Well,
And
well
how we
done.
could continue to work together. You guys might recall, I sit on their community relations committee where we discussed how the hospital can work with various organizations. So this is their second year that they've provided us a grant, and I'm very thankful for them. We also talked about them supporting our vaccine wellness program, which is coming up in October.
Any update on, Glen Kirk's Illinois Department of Human Services, appeal?
Not that I've seen.
No update, okay.
What else?
Whose report does the special needs support program?
It goes with Jean, yeah,
Goes with Jeannie.
yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't, thank you.
And it's all the band has been proven to be a huge
Yeah,
success.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just read about that in the
Yeah.
report.
Yes, very exciting.
Where's that kept? Do you have a space for it to
Yeah.
park it and? Good.
So we, I know that
great.
Arnold is working with somebody to get it wrapped, on Saturdays. I know it's been very helpful for him for pickups. I actually dropped by here Saturday because I was in the neighborhood. So it does help him. Sometimes he does about 5 or 6 pickups on Saturdays, and then there's multiple food drives going on. So it's been a really, really, really good value add so far.
Great. And it's parked over by the Winnetka Community House in that lot.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
Winnetka was able to give us that
Good.
permission to park there.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So-
Yeah.
We just need to make it
Parking
official.
is so
it's got-
scarce. Like, where did you put it?
That's
The roof,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That was one of the major impediments for many years.
Yeah, it's,
So we're
it's
very
tough.
excited about that.
yeah, that's great. That's
And I know
good news.
Jerome got to take a ride in it. Good ride?
Great work.
Any additional discussion? Just take a note of the various upcoming outreach events. We hope to see you all there, at the various programs. Keep an eye out for emails from Heather, especially about opportunities to participate at tables, for instance. And if you haven't gotten your real ID, mobile DMV is your time. So, and I hope to see many people at the bagel breakfast, Veterans Bagel Breakfast. Was just so much fun last year.
That's a good.
Quick question on the, success of the referrals of the Wilmette Post Office for passports. Are we doing that in other post office like Glencoe or one of Wilmette's post offices?
I will bring it up to Steve. I know he had, we talked about last time about putting up a poster in Winnetka, so, that's a good point. I used the program, the, make an appointment program to test it out, and because my children's passports will be expired. And it worked,
It
so.
Success.
Highly recommended for all of your, under 18 passport needs in particular. Always remember to have 6 months on your passport. All right, now, new business, Northfield TIF position. So Northfield, the village, not the township, is proposing a TIF, tax increment financing, district. You have been provided the report from Northfield Village, as well as, which was created by a consultant. Then you have a letter and report from an accountant on behalf of a number of school districts impacted by the TIF district. And then the response letter from Northfield in response to that school district TIF letter. We, as an impacted taxing body, sit on the joint review board. We currently sit on one other, that's Kenilworth. That was implemented in 2015, apparently. Not without controversy in itself. I do go to those meetings annually, the one's coming up in a few weeks. I do not recall, and perhaps Trustee Moser has any other recollection, I do not recall us taking any position in 2015.
Nor do I.
Right,
I was a little surprised to see this actually.
yes.
Are we being asked to take
We
a
are,
position?
we are being asked to take a position
No.
by everyone. And not the same position. I am putting out a motion that we abstain from taking a position at the JRB, participate in the joint review board, but not make a position for or against.
Second,
There's a second discussion.
What are you called upon to do, if anything, at these joint meetings? I mean, hopefully
Right,
they're not
really-
asking you
Yeah.
directly where we
Yeah.
stand or,
Well, so there's been one meeting, a
okay.
little bit controversial because they said they sent us notice. I did not receive notice.
Hmm.
But the second meeting is on Thursday. At that meeting, I believe the board makes a recommendation to Northfield
Hmm.
about whether or not to adopt the TIF. But ultimately, and certainly Jan was at the first meeting, she can attest in a moment. But ultimately it's Northfield's decision.
Right, that's why I'm wondering, even our presence on this joint, like if we abstain, maybe we should step back from any meetings, because in and of itself, if that group's going to give a recommendation, you're kind of by inference by sitting with that committee, right? That joint committee kind of,
Well, we're on it no matter what.
you can't like say,
We would just
we don't have
be-
a position, we don't have a say, we'd rather step back from this.
I mean, you could just not go, but then the
Yeah.
newspaper said township didn't show.
Oh,
I mean, you
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
If it's mandated,
We're on
be
it.
there, otherwise I think it's almost like a conflict to say, well, we don't have a position, but yet the committee that you sit on is going to give a position one way or the other to Northfield, and that's going to be important, they're gonna look at who all sat on that committee. So I'm just trying to think of how that might be misinterpreted or, interpreted as to where the township fell on this at the end of the day, and it is very controversial, so that's what I'm concerned about.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, the first JRB meeting, neither Northfield Township nor New Trier was represented because they had not received notice. And a number of the people in Northfield, residents, are concerned about the speed with which some of the township trustees wish to get this
the
done.
village,
The village, right,
Yeah, the
but the
village
trustees, the
council,
village of
yeah.
Northfield wants to get this done, and the fact that there was no notice played into that, you see, how careful are they being if they couldn't even get their JRB set up properly? Excuse me, but as I understand it, the JRB is a state mandated part of TIF.
Okay,
So Gail will represent
So
the
we don't have a
township
cho- we
at
don't
the
have a choice
annual
then.
review meeting of whatever's
Yeah.
being done or whatever. So yeah, so somebody from the township, not has to, but should sit there
Yeah.
and at least if, and
Yeah, I
as I
understand that.
understand it, after the problem was with the first JRB meeting was that there were not enough people there and the information had not been disseminated, the pros and cons and so forth. So, not a majority, but enough of the members said either abstain or no, based on what they already knew, that they couldn't make a recommendation. And the point of this meeting is to clarify everything so that the joint review board can join with the bodies and just make a recommendation to the village of Northfield about whether they say okay or not. The village, the trustees, they can still go ahead anyway.
right.
Right.
Okay,
How many TIF districts are in the township?
Oh, this would be, only the second.
This would be
Let's do the second TIF.
Kenilworth
Yeah.
and this one.
Well, Kenilworth
I did
certainly
look
has
at-
one
I found a
now.
really fun map. Hold on.
This isn't revenue neutral,
Oh.
long term on this.
no, it's a long term.
It's a long term.
Winnetka shot one down a while ago, they were looking at it for downtown redevelopment, and it was,
So there's the Kenilworth one right there,
That's
that's
how-
all of New Trier Township, so no other ones.
The,
So you miss all
Anyway.
the
the
pin,
taxi bodies do.
they
there
do
are
special
144
services.
pins in the Northfield proposal.
Wow.
Over 100 of them are in New Trier Township. So that the presence of New Trier really in a way does make a difference. It's almost the entire commercial area of Northfield, but it happens that almost all the commercial area of Northfield is in New Trier Township.
Yeah.
Out of that,
100 parcels?
144 pins.
144
Yeah.
pins. And how many are commercial?
Pretty.
All.
expensive,
Well, they're
you
all-
know, it goes
all
up and
commercial.
down the whole.
Well, City
The whole
Hall.
corridor,
So,
cap
yeah,
and-
that's not,
and
they're not
Close.
commercial.
And I
Gotcha.
believe there are two, apartment buildings now, one being built and
One's,
one.
right, that's right, one's going up and one is proposed, and I really don't know how they play into the TIF at all, since
Well,
one of those, I mean, it's underway, so nobody's going to say it's blighted to be building. The builder would be very unhappy with that, I think.
And certainly the response memo from the village addressed that issue. You know, they're talking about it being, addressing the gestalt, not the individual parcels. So certainly the goals of the proposal seem laudable. You know, developing additional housing, revitalizing, that area of Northfield.
Is that affordable housing?
It does not say affordable
say.
housing.
Yeah.
It says mixed housing. Which we do know that Illinois lags. There was just a report that, are we the last or second to last? One of the last in housing,
Yeah.
being developed. So, these are important goals, and both sides of this debate recognize that the infrastructure needs to be improved. But we do not have our own consultant. We didn't have our own, accountants go through this. I think it just seems to be better to stay neutral on it.
Could we table the discussion as opposed to abstaining and have it pending the outcome of the hearings that you're going to?
No, so tomorrow, the Thursday will be the vote.
Is the hearing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
So I need your,
Cause they're gonna ask you. how
your
you voted.
direction,
Yeah, got it.
Got it.
as we speak as a board, not as me,
Okay.
right?
I thought that the letter from the superintendent of New Trier was pretty persuasive.
But then the response was persuasive too. I was like, these are very good. So I don't know about you all. I was like, this is
Yeah,
well done.
tough issue.
So it's basically a law school exam.
Right. Bar exam.
It's a bar exam question. So with that said, is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of abstaining at the JRB, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right. Lastly is the appointment of the committee liaisons. Disability support, trustee Moser. Mental health, Kate Cassell McNally. Life stages, Jessica Tucker. Special projects, Mark Peterson. And we will be in discussion about our special projects. That does, that does,
Very special.
remind me that we wanted
Pretty
to
special. with it.
provide an update on the last special project, Jessica.
Oh, yes, so, okay, so I haven't heard, so how we left it, we voted on the peer jury program back in May. Sorry if I'm a little off here with everything else going on, but we voted to sunset the program on this date. If no partner came forward with a formal commitment, New Trier High School or if any of the public safety agencies in the township to partner with us to reinstate the peer jury program. And I haven't heard from Brian and Supervisor, Eisenberg, you haven't heard anything from anyone out there in the community, and it's certainly been talked about. It was presented at the annual town hall, we talked about, it's been in the courier as to, that the program was suspended by Brian Leverance, the coordinator of the program and the founder of the program, which has been an excellent program, but had suspended it already the previous year. And then we went ahead and put it on a formal inactive status with a sunset date of today, so there's no further action we have to take, so.
That is just an update.
It's just, the update is that program is sunset and, it was a great program and hopefully going forward, there'll be other programs where we can honor the spirit of helping our teenagers and the community in great ways, going forward.
And I was thinking about that earlier today about, how have our youth programs kind of shifted? And obviously this year, as we prepare for the new agency programming and hopefully have some younger people participate, as well as now the youth board for volunteer center, and the amount of students that are volunteering in the pantry. I do think that that's become kind of the new page in our youth programming. And it's nice to see the kind of that evolution. So people are staying involved and staying out of trouble. But yes, there's a change in juvenile policing.
So at this point, we're not gonna institute any new programs within the township per se. Like we had talked about making youth members, committee members and.
No,
things.
that is still the plan. That is still the plan.
It is,
Yeah.
so. We'll.
Moving forward.
Okay.
Yep. Great. All right, continuing business. Being none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say, oh, sorry, seconds.
I was waiting for you.
Trustee Moser, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
What are those orange things?
They're for flies.
Oh, yeah, there's good.